Dave Garda here on the floor of FOSE at the Washington Convention Center. And with me is Mr. Bob Napaa, who is Vice President of Business Development for a company called Virtensys, who we've talked to many times in our pre-event webcast with Ahmet Hussein, who's giving great interviews. Now, I/O virtualization, give us an overview of what that is and, of course, the Virtensys I/O virtualization switch.
Sure. So the way we look at it, that I/O virtualization is really the next wave in the data center optimization and simplification. What happened is that we remove, in very simple terms, we remove all the I/Os that are traditionally plugged into the servers. We consolidate them into our I/O virtualization switches. Okay. And then by doing that, then we can really substantially simplify the servers, simplify the I/O infrastructure of an entire rack. So you can imagine that all the I/O adapters are plugged inside our I/O virtualization switch, consolidated and virtualized back to the servers. Okay. So it becomes very transparent from a server perspective, but on the other hand, the user can get a major benefit in cost reductions, power reductions, and management simplification.
That was my question. What are some of the benefits of the solution?
Yeah. The user can realize the benefits immediately. Some of the key benefits that the user can get, one of them is the major reduction in their cost, in their I/O cost. The way we have to look at it, if we are able to reduce the I/O equipment by 70 to 75%, that will also translate in about the same amount of cost reduction. So you can assume 60 to 70% cost reduction on the I/O side from a server perspective. This is very measured from a user who are deploying data servers in their data center. Equally important, people are talking a lot about the green IT today. By deploying our solution, they can reduce their power consumption by another 60 to 70% compared to the traditional way that they were deploying I/Os in the server.
That's a big difference.
It is a major difference, and this is why we are seeing lots of interest from end users and customers in our solution, because they can realize the benefits immediately when they deploy our solution.
Now, you've been doing a demo. You had a very crowded booth, and we've managed to get in here. Can you possibly do the demo for some of the interest points for our audience?
Yeah, sure. Let me walk you through the demo. So maybe it will be good to introduce what we have over here. This is the demo environment in the booth over here. We are showing two of our switches today. We have two versions. The first device over here is what we call the 4008, which is an I/O virtualization switch that virtualizes both the Ethernet interface to the server as well as the disk drive. So we have 8 disks plugged into our server, into our switch. So you can assume that the servers can be deployed without any I/Os in them and without any disk, and all the disks will be consolidated within our I/O virtualization switch. The second box, which is the second one over here, is the 4001, the VAIO 4001, which is the first actually member in the series. This switch virtualizes Ethernet and fiber channel. Okay, so depending on the configuration in the data centers and the users, people might deploy one or the other switch depending whether they want to have fiber channel virtualized or whether they have a fiber channel in their environment. Most people will have, of course, Ethernet, so one of the two switches will work. Fiber channel, they will require the 4001. If they want to virtualize the disk space or the disk from the servers, the 4008 will be the right one. Okay. So in this demo over here, if you go down to the bottom, we are showing a number of servers. In the case over here, we have 8 servers connected to the switches.
8 servers.
Yes.
Wow.
Also, and then the servers over here have no I/Os in them. They're just pure connection to a single PCI Express cable from the servers to our switches.
Okay.
Okay. Now this single PCI Express cable carries all the traffic, whether it is Ethernet, fiber channel.
It's a single PCI Express, you're saying?
That is a single PCI Express cable. There are no other cable coming out from the server.
Got it.
So there is no Ethernet cable, no fiber channel, no nothing. All the connections from the server gets consolidated into a single PCI Express cable.
Okay.
All the I/O again are consolidated within our switch.
Okay.
Okay. So here then what you can see is that I can or a user can manage the entire I/O for entire rack through a very single management console. Okay. This is when we talk about as well the concept of simplified management and enhanced management. So okay, if I can walk you through this. So. Yes, so we have here a management console that shows the I/Os for the entire server, okay? And prior to that, that was not possible. Like people who were configuring the server, they would have to go to each one of the server, try to configure and read the purpose of the I/O of each one of the server independently. Right now, by deploying our solution, they can manage the entire I/O infrastructure for the servers for the entire rack through a single management console. Okay, like over here, I can come and say, okay, which server is connected to which I/O. I can change the connectivity to the server dynamically. So today I can say, okay, this server sees one Ethernet port and then one, let's assume, one disk port. Okay, 2 hours later it needs more capacity. I can add more Ethernet ports. I can add more disk port. I can change it without having to go and reconfigure anything dynamically or physically into the data center. Everything can be done remotely through the management console. So it becomes a very simple and consolidated management environment for the end users.
Excellent. So now, is this available? Is it shipping from your location?
Yes, absolutely. We introduced the products. We started shipping the products at the end of 2009. Okay, so it has been 1 quarter in shipment already. We have seen very strong demand from end users, both from end users that are deploying them in their data center, as well as from OEMs that are looking at, that are taking our solution and take it to their end user as well. So the products are available today, both the 4001 and the 4008. Okay, and then one of the reasons we are here in the show is because there is also strong demand within the government sector for our products as well.
And we've seen that. You've had a very busy booth over the last few days. Well, congratulations on the deployment. That's got a lot of big advantages, especially the one you outlined it very well. Bob Napaa, Vice President of Business Development for a company called Virtensys. And if you want to go to the site, it's virtensys.com?
Absolutely, yes.
Virtensys.com. Thanks again. Dave Gardy here at FOSE 2010 at the Washington Convention Center. Stay tuned for more.